What's going on, guys? It is Untitled Gamer, and today for you guys, I am here with episode 3, or number 3, or video 3, or whatever you want to call it, for Reading with Nick Relocated onto Twitch. If any of you guys want to see these live, you can come every Friday at 7. We are still reading Everflame. Last episode we left off, I keep saying episode because I'm so used to gaming, but last time we read this, we left off halfway through chapter 3. We're going to finish the other half today and hopefully get through chapter 4. I have 30 minutes worth of a song going to play on my TV. Hopefully it doesn't mess up like it did last time. And if need be, I can lower it or adjust it to where we see fit. Where's my remote? My remote's all the way over there, so we're going to have to figure something out if something goes wrong. However, let's continue on. Let's play the song. Let's just have... Can you hear that? Can you hear that song? Because if you can... It's nice, it's Gucci, it's cute, you know? You can hear it? Awesome. Come on, turn on. There we go. Here we go. You're 10% into the book, it says, so you should be good to go for the future chapters. Now, we left off where he said, where Even I said, "I shall not fail." Even I thought nothing, or he thought it, I guess. The perfect volume as well, perfect. He said, "I shall not fail, nothing shall stop me, nothing," and then the little squiggly line to divide the chapter in a time skip. Here we go. Oh, I didn't. Okay, well, now let me just quickly recap. They got in trouble for having the kid, and they were like, "You suck, Even I," and White Claw, right? White Claw, yeah. And so then he has to go kill the king because he said he's gonna kill the king, and then now he's about to kill the king or fight the king, die from fighting the king. Who knows? I haven't read this book in damn near 10 years. Here we go. After a short time in his cell, a guard came and escorted Even I to the gate of the mountain arena. As Even I walked out onto the floor, he felt very strange. The seats were filled with the citizens of the kingdom, but every single bear in the audience was silent. It was so quiet that Even I could hear his heartbeat. Thousands of bears sat in one awkward silence. The truth was, they didn't dare make a sound. Who would cheer a bear who defied a king? Who would jeer a bear whose defiance may gain him the crown? This was history. This day was sacred. The bears knew how to give the moment the reverence it deserved. However, the silence angered King Irontooth. He wanted the crowd to jeer Even I, but he did not let his anger show as he stood to address the kingdom. "One of you has chosen to challenge the authority of my rule. One of you has spoken the words of fate. That bear is Even I, who stands before you now." Even I looked up to the king's box 50 feet above the arena floor. Hatred welled inside of him as he noticed two bears sitting just behind Irontooth. He looked intently at them and saw his wife Goldenheart and his friend Whiteclaw. Guards with spears held them where they were, forcing them to watch the ritual. Even I's blood boiled in his veins and he ground his teeth. King Irontooth turned his gaze from the crowd to Even I. "Does the challenger have anything to say before the ritual begins?" Even I stood up on his hind legs and shouted up at King Irontooth. "Tell my wife that I have given her my heart, and before the day is done I shall also give her the kingdom." King Irontooth curled his lips as he looked down upon Even I. His eyes were full of rage, but he wouldn't allow Even I's words to bait a response. He knew he must show his kingdom which bear held the steady hand. "Raise the gate!" Irontooth shouted, and horns sounded throughout the arena. A gate opened at the edge of the arena, and 14 large bears dragged a massive wooden structure out onto the floor. It was shaped like a pyramid, but with a flat top and stairs built onto one side. It stood at least 30 feet high, and Even I couldn't see around it. The bears dragged the structure over to a large square board on the arena floor. Then they removed the board and pulled the pyramid to sit where it had been. Even I looked at the structure and wondered what it now covered. The king rose from his chair and again spoke to Even I. At the top of the structure are 4 holes. Each opens to a mystery below. Each leads to a different fate. At the top is also a riddle. a clue as to which hole will complete the challenge successfully. You have a limited time to make your decision. A poor decision will result in death. Let the ritual begin. Even I looked at the pyramid and wondered why King Irontooth had not told him how long he had to accomplish the task. He guessed the riddle would explain that and walked towards the pyramid. He looked at the bears surrounding it as he approached. They did not return his gaze, but simply stood without moving, like statues. Even I climbed the stairs, and as he reached the top, he looked out over the crowd. Some of the bears gasped, and some brought their paws to their mouths in shock. Looking back down at the pyramid, even I saw the 14 bears light it on fire, and now understood the time limit. If he did not make his choice in time, he would be standing upon his own funeral pyre. He quickly found a scroll and read the riddle. Choices 4 lie before he who would seek the crown. To the right, a line of sight may direct your decision down. Your other side, should you decide to hear the kingdom call, place your fate in what you say and allow yourself to fall. Even I looked to his right and saw 2 holes in the top of the pyramid, and another 2 to his left. The holes were large enough for him to fit through, but not by much. He looked down into each one and saw only blackness. Soon he heard fire crackling on the sides of the pyramid. Calm down, even I thought. You can do this. He went back and reread the scroll. To the right, a line of sight may direct your decision down. Even I decided to start with the holes to his right. He walked between them and then looked to the crowd, letting the words echo in his head. Line of sight, direct your decision down. He was sure he should be looking for a visual clue. Then even I noticed the banners of the kingdom's professional John Ball teams hung along the wall of the arena. Maybe the clue is in the banners, he thought. Even I looked at the team banners as he walked around the holes. He wasn't sure where he should align his sight, but an idea popped into his head to stand where the scroll was, and then look toward the banners. Even I walked to that spot and looked out over the first hole. The team banner of the Flames lined up perfectly. That has to be a bad sign, he thought. Then he looked out over the other hole and saw the banner of the fighting fish. Fish were a positive sign, but fighting was confusing, so even I decided to try the holes on the other side. The temperature on the pyramid was rising, and all he could see and smell smoke. Even I quickly reread the second part of the scroll. Should you decide to hear the kingdom call, place your fate in what you say and allow yourself to fall. Once again, even I let the words play in his mind. The first side referred to sight, and this side referred to sound, so he decided to see if he could hear anything in the holes. Even I bent low, hung his head over one of the holes, and listened. He could neither hear nor see anything. Then he tried the other one and got the same result. Whoa. He recited the scroll in his mind again, and the words, place your fate in what you say, stood out. Maybe I need to say something into the right hole. And maybe when I call out, something will present itself. He figured it was worth a shot and shouted into the first hole. Hello! I don't know why I said it like Alex Trebek, but even I received no response, but he could tell from the echo that the hole was very deep. That hole must be so deep that the fall would kill me. He moved to the other hole. Hello, he called out again. No response. Yet this time there was no echo. The hole was shallow, maybe too shallow. He would not want to choose this hole only to find himself stuck in the middle of the burning pyramid. If only I could see, he thought. It was getting very hot, and the smoke now obscured his view of the crowd. The flames had reached the top of the platform, and his time was running short. Even I cursed, but then a grand idea came to him. He retrieved the scroll, tore a piece off, and then lit it with the fire. Rushing over to the shallow hole, even I dropped the burning paper in, and sure enough, the walls of the hole were already starting to smoke. This hole was a trap. Thinking the other hole too deep, even I lit another piece of the scroll and headed for the hole that lined up with the banner of the flames. Anticipating the outcome, even I backed away from the hole as he dropped in the burning piece of scroll. A jet of flame shot upward. It was another trap, although this did confirm his theory about the banners. The fire was closing in on him now. It seemed the hole that lined up with the fighting fish banner was the right choice. Fish were food. They were life. This had to be the right decision. Even I lowered himself into the hole, but then heard a large splash come from below. There was water down there, but he didn't know what was in it. He decided to drop the rest of the burning scroll to the bottom. Whoa. As it hit the water, the surface became a thrashing frenzy. There was something very unfriendly down there. Even I reconsidered his decision, and all that was left to explore was the deep hole. He spun and looked at it from across the platform. Flames were everywhere, and the smoke burned in his eyes. Just then, a great cracking sound ripped the air, and the pyramid jolted. The flames were consuming it. I'm out of time, even I thought. He quickly resigned himself to his fate and dashed for the deep hole. As he ran to it, the pyramid buckled beneath him. Without a second thought, he launched himself into the hole and disappeared into the blackness. The crowd could see nothing. The pyramid had become a great bonfire, and everyone expected the worst. King Irontooth smiled from his high seat and turned to Goldenheart, her face wet with tears, though she made no sound. Whiteclaw sat emotionless. Let this be a lesson to the both of you, Irontooth sneered. He turned back toward the crowd and inhaled the smell of smoke that had filled the air. He smiled inside in satisfaction, relishing the moment. He wanted to watch the pyramid until it became a pile of ash. As Even I fell, he closed his eyes and braced for impact, but his body quickly became flushed with the wall of the hole and changed the direction of his fall. Even I realized that the hole didn't go straight down. He was sliding at an angle. Down into the darkness, Even I slid until he eventually leveled out and skidded to a stop. He felt for the walls on either side of him and got to his feet. Walking in the opposite direction he had come from, it was not long before Even I bumped into a staircase. He climbed it with pride as it became clear he had chosen the correct hole. After a minute, he found a flat surface above his head and pushed at it with his paw. It gave way, revealing itself as a trapdoor in the floor of the arena. Bears in the crowd pointed as they noticed Even I push himself up from the trapdoor in the arena floor, some 60 yards from the burning pyramids. As more of the crowd noticed, they cheered, no longer able to conceal their natural inclination to support the underdog. Whiteclaw and Goldenheart cheered as well, but the guards raised their spears to the bears' throats, and they quickly fell silent. King Irontooth shook with rage, unable to speak. Even I ran across the arena floor until he was under the king's box and shouted at him. Irontooth, he called. Tell my brother Whiteclaw that he shall help me rule this kingdom so that my heart never becomes as poisoned as yours. King Irontooth shot out of his seat and bellowed into the smoky air. Begin the second challenge now. One bear came from the arena gate carrying a John Ball and motioned for Even I to follow. The arena floor had markings for playing John Ball, and Even I was led to the far end of the field. Your goal is the opposite end of the field, the bear said to Even I, and gave him the ball. You must only score once. When you hear the horn sound, you may begin. Even I nodded, and the bear turned and left. Even I looked around and saw nothing in the arena other than the burning pile of wood that was once the pyramid. Yet he kept his senses sharp, as he knew any moment his obstacles would be presented to him, and they would most certainly be deadly. He waited with the ball ready to run. The horn sounded and a gate opened on the opposite side of the arena. More gasps came from the crowd as 10 giant wolves barreled out of the gate, just as big as the ones Even I and Whiteclaw had battled the previous night. Even I's wounds ached and his eyes narrowed. Despite his injuries, he had to fight better than he did last night, or it would cost him his life. Even I devised a quick plan. He dropped the John Ball and ran toward the fire. The ball would be no use to him unless he could kill all 10 wolves. Once he reached the perimeter of the blaze, he turned toward the charging wolves, stood on his hind legs, and roared. The pack did not slow, and Even I realized he would have to fight fast. As the first 2 wolves reached him, they leaped into the air, going straight for his throat. Even I anticipated their jump and fell to the ground just as the wolves overshot their mark and landed in the flames. The next 2 wolves were immediately behind them, and Even I used their momentum against them as well, slashing at the first wolf with his claw while sidestepping the other. His blow met the wolf under the chin and stunned it. The second wolf he had avoided tried to stop, but couldn't until it had skidded past Even I. The bears kicked his back legs out and sent the wolf into the blaze. Now the wolf Even I had stunned regained its composure and came back at him. With one mighty swipe, he knocked this wolf into the fire as well. 4 wolves down, 6 to go, Even I thought. The stench of the burning flesh and hair afflicted Even I and sent adrenaline coursing through his veins. He roared again at the pack, goading them to attack. but they had grown wary of the fire. So it was now Even Eye's turn to go on the offensive. He dove upon the pack with reckless abandon. He took his claw and delivered an uppercut to the first wolf under the jaw, lifting it up into the air. He slapped another wolf to the ground and stepped on its head, crushing its skull under his weight. A third wolf he impaled on his claw and threw it into the pack. Whoa! Even Eye took advantage of this small diversion and caught one of the wolf's hind legs in his teeth. Then he crunched down and broke the leg. The wolf fell to its side, and Even Eye immediately lunged at its neck and killed it. There were now 4 wolves left, and all of them had got back on their feet, though one was severely wounded under the jaw. The wolves were afraid of Even Eye and circled him, well out of his reach. Fortunately, Even Eye had an idea of how to bait them in, though he knew it would take all of his strength. He rose up on his hind legs and roared toward the ceiling of the arena, taking his focus off of the wolves completely. At once they took the bait and launched themselves at Even Eye as he left himself exposed. The searing pain of fangs in his flesh was immediate. All 4 canines were upon him, hanging from his body. The weight was immense, but Even Eye knew he had to remain upright. Slowly he gained his balance and took a step toward the fire, then another step, and another. The crowd stared in awe as Even Eye took one final step toward the fire and turned around and fell backward upon the burning wood. The wolves on his back were crushed between his weight and the inferno. Their bodies went limp and they relinquished their holds. Even Eye rolled as soon as they did, bringing the same fate to the other 2 wolves. As fast as he could, he pushed himself off of them and backed away from the fire as they burned. Even Eye was free of the blaze, but had to roll on the arena floor to smother fire that had caught on some of his fur. He had suffered burns, but they couldn't tamp his spirit. The wolves were dead and he had won. He got up, staggered over to the John Ball, and picked it up in his mouth. The crowd cheered Even Eye onward as he limped all the way to his goal. Once he crossed the opponent's territory line, he dropped the ball and called out to King Irontooth. "Irontooth, tell my kingdom to cheer louder, for my victory is their own." King Irontooth stood from his chair and turned his back on the arena. "It is time I end this," he uttered through clenched teeth. He began to leave his box, but stopped short and stared at Goldenheart and Whiteclaw. Then he turned to one of his guards. "When I have taken the life of that traitor," he said, "kill those 2. "Yes, sire," the guard answered. The crowd continued to cheer Even Eye, but as he stood on the floor of the arena, he felt his strength waning. "I shall not fail," he thought. "Just one last challenge." The horn sounded and the gate reopened. This time, King Irontooth himself walked into the arena. The crowd quieted instantly, as if suddenly aware of the cheers, for Even Eye had also been cheers against their ruler. King Irontooth was bigger than Even Eye, and as he walked toward the wounded bear, the king's rage was evident. Even Eye closed his eyes and pictured his wife. He loved her more than anything in the world. He would not let her life continue without him, having to bear his disgrace. He would not leave her with that burden. Even Eye imagined his wife shunned from the kingdom, and a fire rose in his belly. He clenched his teeth, furrowed his brow, and opened his eyes. King Irontooth stood directly in front of him and unleashed his wrath. He swung and caught Even Eye on the side of the head, knocking him to the ground. Irontooth followed with a blow to Even Eye's ribs and then stepped hard on one of his legs. The pain was great, but Even Eye rolled away from the assailant, narrowly dodging another blow to the head. Yet King Irontooth was undeterred. He pounced on Even Eye, pinning him on his back, and rained blow after blow upon him. Even Eye's wounds had weakened him. His vision blurred as blood dripped into his eyes. Irontooth was in control. Even Eye was going to die. He could hear Goldenheart cry out from the high above. Amid the deluge, Even Eye's mind drifted far beyond the arena, and he imagined his wife walking the roads of the kingdom without him. Bears along the side of the road assaulted her with slurs and pelted her with rotting food. Whiteclaw wasn't far behind her, and children taunted him and stabbed at him with spears. Even Eye's wife and friend were being banished from the mountains, sent far from the light of the Everflame. They were being cast out of their home. Storm clouds formed in the sky of Even Eye's imagination, and lightning flashed in the distance. The Everflame burned atop Grey Mountain, and upon its pyre lay the body of a small boy. "No," Even Eye grunted. He opened his eyes to see King Irontooth on top of him, afire with vengeance. What did you say, maggot? Well, what did you say, you maggot, or whatever? English. Irontooth growled. I said no. Even I swung his arms up, sinking both of his claws into the king's throat. Then he brought his hind legs up under Irontooth and pushed him off. Even I climbed upon the king and bent his mouth down into Irontooth's ear. Tell whatever it is that waits on the other side of death that my life has only just begun. And with those words, even I tore Irontooth's throat out, defeating him and claiming the kingdom. He stood and unleashed a primal roar as his kingdom chanted his name. Chapter 4. Okay. 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 That got graphic. That got real graphic. Okay. I just hiccuped and cleared my throat at the same time. I mean, hey, even I won. Even I be out here winning. Even I doing his thing. You're doing good. That was a great chapter. That was a great chapter. That was a great chapter. Okay, here we go. Chapter 4 is called Rumors. Okay, this is only 10 minutes worth of reading, it says, so we should be good. So we should be able to finish Chapter 4, and then we can start Chapter 5 next time. Right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. How much time do I have left on this music video? Go to about 9 minutes, and then it's going to go into this Chrono Cross thing. I don't know Chrono Cross, so I'm actually going to... Oh, I can use that temporarily. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, we should be good. Trying to find it. Oh, that's a good song to listen to. We'll listen to that one after. Okay. So chapter 4 is called Rumors. Even I had never forgotten King Irontooth's words. Why have you done this to yourself, Even I? Those words haunted him. The memory of Irontooth haunted him, and the sculpture of Irontooth standing right outside his courtroom haunted him. It had been 15 years since Even I had killed Irontooth, but those words stayed as fresh as if they had just been spoken. Why had he done it? Back then, Even I had been so sure of his convictions, so sure that his motives were just. But from time to time, he doubted himself and those decisions. He had taken yet another bear's life. Yes, it had been legal, but it was necessary. But was it necessary? Was it just? He had disagreed with Irontooth, and had been backed into a corner. It was Irontooth or the boy. But was it? Even the bears of the kingdom had these questions. No one brought them to Even I now that he was king. But Even I was no fool. He heard the rumors. No one was displeased with how Even I ruled the kingdom, but some questioned his motives. Many more questioned his plan for the boy. An ambassador of peace? Was it madness? Was he forcing a horrible fate onto the boy? Was he forcing a horrible fate onto his kingdom? The bears had accepted the boy, or at least the majority had, and as king, Even I was able to provide him with everything a child could need. But the boy was grown now, and his fate was almost upon him. A fate Even I had sentenced him to when he had killed Irontooth. Even I felt the boy was still too young, but the questions had already begun. When? His advisors had asked him on different occasions. When would Even I's plan for peace begin? When would the boy be ready? The truth was that Even I didn't know, and he was afraid the kingdom might force his decision before he had made up his own mind. Even I thought back to those first few years after the ritual. They had been some of the happiest in his life. He and Goldenheart playing with the boy and enjoying the leisure of being royalty. It had all seemed like just such a dream. Lately, however, it seemed like sand falling through an hourglass. He could even pinpoint the exact moment that had shattered his perfect little dream world because it had broken his heart. Loki dancing to the music. I didn't see that. Father, why am I different? Somebody just texted me out of the blue. Out of the blue, I was like, huh? They went Nick in all caps. I was like, what? And then we're gonna find out what that was about. But if it's something personal, I'm gonna simmer down. But okay. Even now, when even I remember, his chest would tighten. What had he done? To what horrible fate had he damned this boy? The boy's entire world was the bears. Yet, if he stayed in the kingdom, he would grow to be an incomplete man, never knowing the love of a woman or the rule, or the miracle of seeing his own children. Oh, I can open it up from my computer. Dang, JJ really be out here. Yo! Oh, Maddie. But, JJ gave me this thing so I can text from my computer, and I was like, JJ, I don't need it. I don't need this app. And then here I am using this app. I mean, Paper Mario. Oh. She was talking about the new, Paper Mario game. She goes, there's a new Paper Mario? Nick, you don't understand. That's my favorite game of all time. I was like, whoa. She said, hi, Twitch. Hi, Twitch. Twitch says hi. Alright. Where were we? Okay. The boy's entire world was the bears. Yet if he stayed in the kingdom, he would grow to be an incomplete man, never knowing the love of a woman nor the miracle of seeing his own children. He would never completely fit. Yet if he left the kingdom for the world of humans, he would be a man with no past and no one to help him. Would he even fit in human society, having been raised by bears? His hope rested on Eve and I's plan for peace. Eve and I had put this boy's only hope in a society that was both bear and human. And it scared him to pieces. Crap. Eve and I sat next to Evercloud in the castle tower. Oh, is that his name? Evercloud? I think so. Eve and I sat next to Evercloud in the castle tower, looking out over the kingdom with the Everflame burning directly behind them. Both father and son would come to the top of the tower to mediate or speak to each other. It was something they had been doing together for a while now. Evening was upon them, and the sky was shades of pink and violet, its hues becoming cooler as time passed. Eve and I had enough of his own thoughts, and decided he'd like to hear about his son's day. He looked over the young man, his long matted hair hanging down his bare shoulders. Evercloud wore leather pants and shoes, but the bears hadn't seen the use for anything else during warm weather. Evercloud, Eve and I said, what happened today that made you ask about your name earlier? Oh, nothing much, Evercloud replied. Riverpaw and I were discussing names, and I realized I didn't know how I received mine. Is it done? Oh, we have 2 more minutes? We're good. I think I always assumed it was because my skin is pale compared with a bear's fur, like the clouds are paler than the sky. But after Winter Sun said it was because I had clouds for brains, Riverpaw and I began thinking on it. Why would Winter Sun say that of you, even, I asked. Only because I told him his true name was Fishface, Evercloud answered. And why would you do that? Because he said Riverpaw played John Ball like a female, which was only Winter Sun being sore, as Riverpaw and I had just won a match against him in Redcoat. Eve and I chuckled heartily. I'm glad to see you're getting on so well with your friends. Evercloud smiled and climbed to his feet. Father, I've been meaning to ask if you and Uncle Whiteclaw may teach Riverpaw and I to night fish sometime. We're both very eager to learn. So it would seem, Whiteclaw said as he entered the room. Riverpaw just asked me the very same question only an hour ago. I told him yes on the condition that the two of you continue to achieve high marks in your studies. Of course, Uncle Evercloud said brightly. My, I'm burping like there's no tomorrow. Bro. Okay. Alright, of course, Uncle Evercloud said brightly. Thank you. Alright, Whiteclaw said. Now run and tell your mother the king is needed for an emergency meeting and it might take a while. Yes, Uncle, Evercloud said his goodbyes and left the room. Emergency meeting, Even I asked. Yes, Whiteclaw said. I have the rest of the advisors assembled. We shouldn't wait time. I'm trying my best, bro. Oh, the song's done. 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, 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 no. I don't want a bad song. Don't play a bad song. Ugh. There we go. Here we go. Let's raise this a bit. It's a little... Oh, you can hear it. Okay. 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 Alright. Okay. Even I stood up and followed Whiteclaw down the tower steps. He knew what this meeting would be about. Even I had been expecting it for some time. His advisors were going to demand action on the plan for peace, or at least a timetable. Even I didn't want to think about it, so as he and Whiteclaw made their way to the advising room, he figured he would lighten the mood with talk of their sons. Whiteclaw had married soon after the ritual, and his wife, Autumn Breeze, had given birth to Riverpaw not long after. Funnily enough, Riverpaw is a character from this book, and in my game, again, another thing that inspired me, the main character, who's technically Evercloud, his friend has a superpower called Riverpaw, which is essentially going to, like, summon a bear made completely out of water droplets, and he's gonna kick ass. I didn't want to say bad words on Twitch, but whatever. So, inspiration, not theft. Inspiration. Anyway. Did you hear, Even I asked, our sons won a John Ball match today? No, Whiteclaw said, but I can't say I'm surprised. Yes, Even I said. I should send a gift to Winter Suns and Redcoat's parents for teaching their sons to be good sports, taking it easy on such a lesser opponent. My son is lucky to have such kind friends. Whiteclaw looked at his friend in confusion. Even I. When was the last time you watched Evercloud play John Ball? Well, Even I hesitated. I suppose it has been a while. Why? Well, first off, Whiteclaw began, your boy is as large and capable a man as I have ever seen. Should he walk into a human village right now, they might just mistake him for a bear. Secondly, I assure you no one is taking it easy on him. He is a very good player. Even I beamed. Well, I'll have to make time to see him play. The bears had reached their destination and entered the room. All the advisors were seated around the table, and Even I and Whiteclaw took their places among them. Even I didn't wait before speaking. All right, he said. I already know what this is about, and I would ask you have a little more faith in my ability to know when the time is right. Your Highness, interjected Oak Tongue, a small brown bear with a nasally voice. Oh, small brown bear with a nasally voice. Your Highness, I don't think this meeting's about what you think of it's about. That took a lot. It took a lot out of me. Yes, Forest Moon added. This meeting has been called to address a rumor coming from outside the kingdom. Even I looked at his 5 advisors quizzically. This is definitely not what he had expected, and he was not prepared. Sire, said Whiteclaw, who has always addressed Even I more formally in front of others. We have reason to believe one of the ancients has returned to our world. You can't be serious, Even I replied. What evidence do we have of this? Not a lot, Oak Tongue answered. Just a rumor, really. But the rumor is spread. Our scouts have heard the same rumor in the north of Finlaria, as well as in the south, and it would seem the rumor originates in the west. Grey Mountain was located in the middle of the land of Effinlaria. Even I knew it was uncommon to hear the same news over such a vast area, unless there was some kind of validity to it. Well, even I said with a shrug, continue. The rumor is this, Oak Tongue said. A footprint has been found in around the White Mountains. The footprint of a giant griffin, to be exact. Tenchiro, even I muttered. Yes, sire, it would seem so. A vast span of time had passed since the ancients had been a part of the world. It had been so long that some bears believed the ancients to be nothing more than fiction created by the elder bears. Even I felt this rumor seemed fantastical. I do appreciate being informed, even I said, and I would like to be updated with any new information that may arise. But I hardly see why I've been called to an emergency meeting that has me missing dinner with my family. I cannot justify taking action on a rumor, even if it is concerning the ancients. Please tell me you weren't expecting to make me take a rumor at face value. No, my king, Whiteclaw said. Not exactly. We did not expect you to believe the rumor. Yet this rumor, true or false, creates an issue we need to address. Namely, the effect it will have on Evercloud. Oh, I see, even I... I see, even I stood up and paced the room for a moment. The other bears didn't dare interrupt him as they knew this is a delicate matter. However, even I didn't take long to come to his decision. Send for the boy. Excuse me, sire. Excuse me, sire? It's all in the tone of voice that Nick's not getting right. Forest Moon asked. You heard me, the king said. Have a guard retrieve Evercloud. It's time he be told everything. There we go! Now, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh wow, you wrong. The thing said on chapter 5 that I have 1 minute left of the chapter, now it says 23 minutes left of the chapter. Okay. Okay. But no, I think that's been our little 45-minute slot right there. So we were able to finish chapter 3, and we got chapter 4 finished. So yeah, I mean, I really am happy that even I won, but at the same time, it seems like a lot of it was an excuse. What he told Iron Tooth just to kind of get his trust, and everyone was like, oh my god, he's gonna do it. And now they're like, when are you gonna do it, buddy old pal? So, I don't know. But I'm now going to be moving to Mixer. For some reason, my Xbox membership decided, let's cancel you. So I can't play Halo 5 again. So I'm gonna have to find some other alternative. I was so close to being good with it, I didn't have to deal with anything. But for some reason, they were like, whoa, and I have to find some kind of alternative for this game. So we'll figure it out. I'll start the stream pretty much like, give me like 5-10 minutes after the stream's over, and I'm going to start the Mixer one. Those of you watching on YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have been following along with the book and you're interested in it. I'm sorry if you would like to hear some of these chapters done a little bit more often. I've just, to manage my time better, I want to do it at the end of my week, so every Friday, in the evening. So it's easier for me. And honestly, there might be some times where I can't do it, but I'm just kind of trying to make do with what I have. And once I have more better time management, then I can probably start doing these streams a little bit more often. But whatever. And if you guys again would like to see these live, you can check my Twitch channel or Twitch account or Twitch, whatever you want to call it, in the description down below. Take a follow. Take a minute to just follow your boy. And you can see these whenever they go up live. And you can also check out on what's it called? My Mixer. Yes, I also stream on Mixer after these streams. Mostly, it's really like if I'm feeling up to it, and I'm feeling up to it today, and I felt up to it recently. So if you guys want to go check both of those out, the links to those are in the description, as well as the rest of my social media. They're always there. But thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I will see y'all in the next video, the next Reading with Nick. Whatever you're paying attention to, it's whatever. Goodbye.